into the next deal. So here's another deal. Again, we're talking tonight, Deal Mastery Monday call on making no deal decisions. And again, the decisions you make will really hinge on your goals, which should then drive your strategies, and also, then have that be laid into a game plan to execute those strategies. So we're talking no deal decisions. We just talked about a deal that was presented at a recent deals meetup in which the seller was doing a seller financing on a deal. And there was only $5,000 down required to get you into the deal, which is generating a pretty good amount of cash flow in a pretty decent area, by the way. So let's go ahead and pivot into the next deal. This next one is 3960 Willsby Avenue. This is a deal where you can actually take over payments. So let's go ahead and listen into this particular deal, and then we'll come back and comment just like we did on the last one.
One is going to be another creative financing deal. This is going to be a subject to, which is going to allow you guys to take over the existing payments. However, the deed will be transferred in your name. Right now, it is, it does need some updating. Well, it probably needs a lot of updating to get it up to, the max ARV, but it only needs about $7,000 to $8,000 to get it fully rent ready, right? It's got a new boiler, and the max rent in the area is right around $1,500 to $1,550. So all it would take to get into this deal is actually $27,000 down, and would put you at a cash flow of $803.32 every single month.
All right, so just to summarize, this is a subject to deal, which, again, for some folks that are new with the top, kind of gave you a foreshadowing that some of the best ways to do deals in today's market is through creative deal structuring, creative financing. We've already seen first deal, seller financing. This deal is subject to. What is subject to just means you're able to buy the property, take deed title ownership of the property while leaving the existing mortgage on the property in the existing owner's name. While you take the deed title to the property, that mortgage stays in the existing owner's name, and then you're able to just continue making payments on that mortgage, and basically you have financing already in place. No need for banks, no need for private money lenders, hard money lenders. The financing is already there. So really creative deal structure here, Reese. So looks like you only have to put down $27,000 plus closing and get into the deal. PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is roughly $700. And the cash flow, I'm assuming that's, of course, your rent, and then netting out that PITI nets you that $800 a month cash flow. Is that right, Reese?
That's correct.
All right. And so you can see here, he's saying rent ready repairs are $5,000 to $7,000, and to do a full update would be $40,000 to $50,000. But if you just want to, essentially, to buy this as a quick fix and hold, it's going to be roughly $5,000 to $7,000 to get it ready. So let's go ahead and look at some of the pictures so we can kind of give people a feel for exactly what type of work is needed to get this, up to snuff, as you say, for rental. So we'll go ahead and throw these photos in here. And it's always good, folks, if you put, photo links, right? So you see Reese put a photo link here, Dropbox link. We can go ahead and now, open this up and then share with all you good folks, right? So you can see, exactly what type of deal this is. So let's go ahead and, pull this up, and we'll just quickly go through these photos, roll them, hopefully big as possible. And let's just go ahead and fly through these photos real quick. So you're getting to see exactly what the property looks like on the inside. So Reese, I'm going to fly through these photos. Feel free to talk through them as I go through them.
Absolutely. So taking over the existing financing, the financing's actually been in place for about 12 years. So you're right in the downward slope of the amortization schedule, which really just means that more of your payment is going towards principal than it is going to interest. However, the interest is absolutely super low on this property at 2.87%, which would be impossible for an investor to even get that loan. I know investor loans are going somewhere around 6 or 7% right now. Plus, it adds a fantastic BRRRR opportunity There's properties that are selling 175, and even as I looked at it, earlier today, there was one that sold very recently for 190K. All same square footage. The basement was finished on those, so it's really just a fantastic positioning for you to come in with the money down, take over the super low payments at the super low interest rate, and cash flow a little over $800 a month.
Okay, cool. Looks like some of the photos went black. So I think people got the general gist of the. There we go. Had the photos back. Looks like. So I want to give you as good an idea as possible, just on the condition, as many rooms as possible in the house, and so pretty much get a good idea that it's obviously habitable at this point. People are living there, and the $5,000 to $7,000 Reese put there just to have it be a turnover cost. What would that be allocated towards, Reese, you think?
Really just carpet, paint, and then any other miscellaneous things that would need to be taken care of, to get it, fully rent ready.
All right, cool. All right, so he has those full set of photos there if you want to continue to look through those. Let's come back to our page here. Again, just to recap, we have Reese Pennington here with 3960 Willsby Avenue. It's a payment takeover, one of those deals that people try to get, subject to where the financing is already in place. You're asking for $27,000 plus closing costs, and it's going to, you said, roughly take $5,000 to $7,000, make it rent ready. So we see some comps here, and on our Deals Meetup site, you can see here's the property. Okay, here's the property right here, and there are, comps pretty close. You have 5, 7, 3, 4, 6. So if we come down 5, 7, 3, 4, 6, you can see these comps here that are spaced out, right? So you have, one that's topping out at 195, 190, and then comps that are, that are probably in need of repair, in the $50,000 to $75,000 range. So anyway, let me take a look at the street view and see if we can get a good feel for that, as we did with the other property, and take a look at the neighborhood.
And so the nice thing about this, the way that it's set up with the $800+ a month in positive cash flow, and the money that you would put down, not counting in the closing costs, you would be whole with all of your money back in 2.8 years.
All right, folks, that's what you call a payback period. So Reese is saying with your cash out of pocket, you'll get your money back in under 3 years, 2.8 years. So, that type of payback period under 3 years is going to, put you, somewhere in a 30-some% cash on cash return. That's just how the math works, right?
Absolutely.
So so it's this property right here. Can you see, Reese? The share right now, we're just doing the Google Maps view.
Yeah, so it should be the one third from the left.
So this one right here.
Correct.
Okay, cool. So to give you guys a picture of the neighborhood, Willsby and Dumbarton is the cross street. If I just pan the neighborhood like I did with the other property, just come down some. And what you want to look for, obviously, when you're buying a property is you want to look at the neighborhood. Are we talking about an area that has a ton of board ups? Are we talking about an area that looks like the grass is pretty well kept, as far as maybe some homeowners, and looks like there's maybe one property that has some unkept grass, but for the most part, right there, it's probably going to be a good target, right, to reach out to this person, send them a postcard, direct mail postcard, or reach out to them cold call, maybe a good deal right there. But here's the property right here, third from the corner. So good look at the area there. Okay, so.
All right, so let's jump back in here, and then let's take a look at the deal in retrospect. So again, we're doing a postmortem of this deal recently presented at a deals meetup. Again, Andre Johnson here with our Deal Mastery Monday call. We're doing deal or no deal analysis, breaking down a few deals that were recently presented at deals meetup. So again, is this a deal or no deal? Again, it really depends on your goals, your strategies and your game plan. But let's just look at this in a vacuum. What's the risk reward? Okay, so with this particular deal, you have to come up with $27,000 to close plus closing costs. Okay, this property is in an area where there is some renovations going on. It's in an area where you would expect to cash flow roughly $800 and some change a month because of the strong rents that you can command in that area and the payments that you'd be taking over, because this property was offered subject to the existing financing, meaning that you didn't need a bank. You didn't need a mortgage company or a mortgage loan in place. You don't need a private money lender, hard money lender. The seller is actually selling the property, allowing you to take over the existing financing at roughly 2.5% and some change on that particular loan. You do need to come to the table with $27,000 of cash plus closing costs. When you cash flow roughly $800 or somewhere thereabout per month, it's going to roughly be 2 years and roughly 8-9 months. So two years, 8-9 months, somewhere around there in terms of the amount of time it takes for you to get your cash back, the $27,000 you have to come to the table with plus closing costs. So what's the risk reward, right? So I believe that risk that Reese said that's going to take somewhere around $5,000 to $7,000 of tenant make-ready repairs to get the property rented. So the risk there is, you have to put some capital expenditures in to actually get the property rent ready. So there's risk there, right? Unlike with the first property on Pratt Street, 1520 West Pratt Street, it was pretty much rent ready and the tenant just moved out. There wasn't many repairs needed. So in that particular deal, the first one we covered, you only needed to come to the table with $5,000 plus closing costs. This property, you have to come to the table with $27,000 plus closing costs, significantly higher. But in this property here, you're expected to cash flow $800 and change, whereas the first property, 1520 Pratt Street, you only had to come to the table with $5,000 of cash plus closing costs. But the cash flow is only $350 to $400 a month in cash flow. So much lower cash to close, but a much lower cash flow per month. This deal here that we just talked about on Willsby, a much higher cash to close, but double, almost 2.5 times more the cash flow. So again, risk reward, right? You have to come to the table, you have to put more skin in the game with this deal, but there's more upside in cash flow. Okay, the cash on cash return, this property here, it's going to take you 2.5 to 3 years to get your cash back, whereas the first property is only going to take you 1 year to get your cash back. So again, is it a deal or is it no deal? So it really depends on your goals. What are your goals? Are your goals, to be cash flowing? Are your goals to add units to your portfolio, to not only cash flow, but to be in a good neighborhood, which both these properties are, to build wealth? Is it your goal to buy turnkey rentals for cash flow where you have no CapEx or no capital expenditures, no repairs? So that would kind of, drive you one way or another, whether it's deal or no deal. So let's take a look at what the live poll respondents at Deals Meetup had to say. Well, there was a double-digit number of people that actually weighed in on this poll. 9 out of 10 said it was a deal, that it was great to have the payments already in place with the buying the property subject to this existing financing. You didn't have to get a mortgage, so the seller allowed you to take over the payments was a strong thumbs up. Having the seller actually, allow you to come with the seller and the wholesaler, having you come to the table with $27,000 plus closing costs, which gives you less than 3 years to get your money back with a cash flow of $800 a month of cash flow. People found that to be attractive. A 3-year payback period is like a 33% return on your money, cash on cash return. So people found that attractive. And I guess overall, only having to do $5,000 to $7,000 worth of repairs is what people would call a light rehab, paint, carpet, that sort of thing. So deal or no deal? First deal, 95% said deal. This one, 90% said deal. But again, is it the right deal for you? And that depends on what your goals are. If your goals are residual income, if it's cash flow, if it's building wealth through acquiring properties and add them to your portfolio so that you can be one step closer to your pursuit of financial freedom, then maybe this deal makes sense for you, right? But it all depends on what are your real estate investing goals. That's why, it's not a clear picture one way or another, whether it's a deal or no deal. It really depends on what your goals are, and then of course what your real estate strategies are, the power team that you surrounded yourself with to execute those strategies with your game plan. So all these things go hand in hand. You can find a lot of deals out there posted on Facebook groups and Facebook Marketplace, on Craigslist, on meetup boards, and the deal may make sense from a dollars and cents, a crunching number standpoint, but is it the right deal for you? Does the deal make sense based off of your goals? Does the deal make sense based off of your strategies and the power team that you built around you to actually execute your strategy? Does the deal fit into your game plan? So that's why it's important that you start with having, a full understanding, having clarity as an investor, as a real estate business owner on an organizational level. It makes very much sense as far as deal, no deal, when you understand what your goals are, what your strategies are, and your game plan. So we can help you with that. You can get a free strategy session with me to discuss your real estate goals. We'll see how we can help you here at Deal Mastery. Might be able to point you in the right direction of many resources we have at our disposal. And there may even be Deal Mastery resources that can help you within our organization. So book a free strategy call with me. We'll talk about your goals, talk about strategies, talk about a game plan, and you can book that strategy session at mastermindopen.com.